We are going to look at our book Edexcel A2 Physics to study the momentum. It is found on page 10 of our book. First, we're going to define momentum. What is momentum? Momentum is the force needed during a certain period of time in order to move an object from rest, which is the time needed to move the object from its initial position to a new position. For example, we have this resting round object over here, as you can see. We have to put a force on it, which is represented as F. But if we apply this force on the object while resting, would it move directly? No, it wouldn't. Since, as we know, the momentum is the force acting on an object during a certain period of time. We should have the time factor and the force that should be acting on the object itself during a certain time span. So, when we applied this force during this time span, we can move the object from its initial position to another one. So, the momentum is the force applied on a certain object during a specific time span that moves it from one position to another. So this is the momentum. During previous studies, when we used to study the motion of an object, we used to take into consideration several factors, such as distance, or we can also say displacement, which is the movement of an object from one place to another. And we also used to take into the consideration the velocity or speed. And we also used to consider acceleration. But there is also another way, which is studying the momentum, which is exactly what we are learning in this chapter. So, through studying momentum, we have to talk about several things. We have to talk about the symbol of momentum, which is the letter P, and the formula of momentum, which is extracted as the mass times the velocity. So, the final formula is P equals to m times v. And the unit of the momentum is also extracted through the units of the formula itself. As we know, the unit of mass is kilogram, and the unit of velocity is meters per second. And we have a times sign between mass and velocity, which makes the unit of momentum kilogram times meter per second. And this is the unit of momentum. There is also something important that we should know about, which is the kilogram unit is a scalar quantity, and the meter per second unit is a vector quantity, which makes the momentum a vector quantity since it contains meter per second. Vector quantities have their own properties, which makes them not just any quantity, but also a quantity that having its own properties, such as direction. Since we're talking about the mass of an object, it doesn't have any direction. But when we're talking velocity or speed of any certain object, there should be a positive or negative direction. Let's take a plane as an example. When we are talking about its velocity, we can talk about its vector. For example, if we said that the north direction is negative and the south direction is positive, so when the plane is moving in a positive velocity, we are actually saying that is moving south. And when the plane is moving in a negative velocity, it is actually moving north. Thank you for following up, and this is everything for the introduction of momentum in our book Edexcel A2 Physics.